Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's another trying to fix video. Another video where I've bought something faulty off eBay and I do my best to fix it. So in here we have, you can probably tell by the shape of it, a Nintendo Switch. And this one comes with a charger as well. So let's open it up and have a quick look at the condition of it, and then I'll show you the listing and what I paid for it. Okay, well, that looks okay. So there's obviously been some kind of sticker across here, which is a little bit strange, but kickstand's in its place. Screen looks good. Very good, actually. Very good. Right, let's try and turn it on and see if anything happens. Right, nothing's happening there. I can't really see in the USB port. I need to get a light in there. Right, before we go any further, let me just make sure there's no game in here. No, all the games are out. Right, okay, let's show you what I paid for it. So it's expensive because obviously it comes with the Joy-Cons and also the charger here as well. So you're going to be paying a bit more money for it. So I paid £120, £119.99p. Plenty of pictures with it, and it just says on here, for sale is Nintendo Switch with case. It stopped working and I do not know how to fix it. Assume it is faulty and for spares or repair. Comes as seen with case and charge lead. No returns. What you see is what you get. Fast free delivery. And it did come nice and quickly. So I think first things first, let's plug it in and see if it is drawing any, let's see if it's trying to charge at all. So I'm just going to use this here. Okay, so it tried to for a few seconds and it dropped back down, didn't it? Let me try and turn it on. See if it does anything. No, okay, so it doesn't appear to be doing anything. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my desk set up. In the meantime, I am just going to plug this into the charger just to see, you know, leave it plugged in for like 5-10 minutes just to see if anything happens with it or not. But it doesn't look like it's attempting to charge down here because I can't remember what this should be now. I did a video on this and I kept looking at that, so I should know. But I think it jumps up to 1 point something when it's actually charging. Right, while I'm charging the Switch up, I thought I'd just try the Joy-Cons on my Switch, and this one here is connecting, but it does say battery depleted, which is fair enough. But this one here is not connecting, so it looks like the Joy-Con might need a little bit of work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them on here just so they can charge up while I'm trying to fix the actual Switch itself. Okay, so now let's take this thing apart and see what's happening. What I do want to do is I do want to just hold down the power button for about 15 or 20 seconds just to see if it does anything. No, so I'll plug this into my working switch, and basically when it's off it's about 0.4 amps and then it goes up to about 1.4 or something when it's actually on and charging. So this is definitely not charging. So let's take it apart and we'll try another battery in it, and then if it's working then we know it's a problem with the charging. If it's not working we know it's something else. Now I'm looking at these screws here and they do look slightly corroded compared to this side. If you look at that side, that looks like black, that looks black, that looks like a greyish colour. I wonder whether it's suffered water damage. Let's take it apart and see. Now bear in mind that my nickname when it comes to Nintendo Switches is the Switch Killer. So you might not be actually seeing a working Switch at the end of this. Yeah, that screw is definitely not good. That side isn't. That side's not good either. Okay, so the screw's missing up here, so it has been opened before. I didn't take that screw out. It could have fallen out, but it's unlikely. So if it's already been opened, then the chances of me fixing it have decreased massively now, because maybe it's not going to be an easy fix. Yeah, look at the, there's corrosion down here, or something down here, look, the bottom half. Can you see down this area here? Ah, there's loads of corrosion, look. Right, okay. Well, if it's water damaged, then that really is a shame. Well, I've got a screw here which is the head's damaged on it, so I'm going to get a small little flathead and see if I can get that in it instead. Okay, well I can't get that off there, so what I'm going to have to do is, I think, I'm going to have to try and cut it. And then once well, hold on, maybe if I can swivel this round here. Oh, wow. Wow, this is nicely, nicely corroded. So when the seller said that, I don't know what happened, just one day it stopped working, or whatever it was. Well, possibly because maybe you dropped it in the bath, is the reason it stopped working. That is nicely corroded, isn't it? Wow. Okay, well, it's the first one. I mean, every single ribbon cable's been done. And I know that I had one of these on a Joy-Con, and it was I couldn't repair it because when you took it all apart, there was it just ripped off the you know, the ribbon cable. It just ripped off the pads on the ribbon cable. So right now, I'm thinking that there's a very, very, very slim chance that this is going to be working again. Right, there we go. Okay, that's come off. You can see it all there. It's been nicely done, hasn't it? But what might have happened is it might have dropped, for example, down the toilet or in the bath or wherever, and that's just snapped off. And maybe it did work for a while afterwards. So then when the seller says that one day it just stopped working, well, even if you just say one day it stopped working, I mean, it is the truth, isn't it? One day it did stop working, but it depends on what you did to make it stop working. There might be hope for this. You never know. You never know. There might be hope. Because if I was just to clean it all off, there's a chance then once the corrosion's gone that it will start working. It just looks like it's really badly corroded. I'm not even going to try another battery on it. I'm just going to try and clean it up first of all. It's gone everywhere. It's even up. Oh, it's even up here. It's even up on the connections up here. Right, I'm going to have to try. So I'm in two minds. If this is the problem. If I take these ribbon cables out, which I kind of need to get to the board to give it a good clean, then the chances are I'm going to end up damaging the pads when I pull it out, because we've got the screen one here, we've got the ones for the fan, we've got the ones for the power button up here. This one looks okay. Basically, absolutely everything looks gone on it, even if you have a look up here, for example. Can you just see there? There's corrosion everywhere, isn't there? Look, even in here on the screen. I think water damage is probably the worst, basically the worst thing that it could be. Which is annoying because this was £130. It looks like the Joy-Con's not going to work either. So essentially it's £130 for one Joy-Con. And I don't even know if all the buttons on that one works. And would the screen or anything be salvageable on this? It's unlikely. Well, let's see if I can take off any of these connectors. Yeah, look at that. So that's not going to work. can probably reuse this speaker. Nice. Nicely done. Looks like it's been under the sea for a while. I'd love to know what happened to this. If it just dropped in the bath, would it do this much damage so quick? There we go. Oh, whoa. Nice. That is good, isn't it? I'm amazed it has caused so much. If you dropped it in the bath or down the toilet, I'm hoping it's the bath, surely when it comes out that it would, you know, if you sort of laid it upright, surely everything would drip out to the lowest point. Would it really leave behind this much corrosion? This looks like it has been sat in water for days and days and days. Look at the rust on this one here. This bit here. Look at that. Right, I think this is going to be... I'll clean it, but I think this is going to be scrap, isn't it? How annoying is that? I wonder, has it got to... I suppose it's got to the screen and everything. At least the case is in good condition. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some IPA and a toothbrush, and I'm just going to go over the whole thing. See if we can get anything at all out of this.
Questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante.
Well, okay, so I've cleaned the board. It has come up pretty good, but the thing is, underneath every single chip, there's just probably going to be a load of corrosion. So just out of curiosity, I am going to use my multimeter, and I'm just going to go across a few things just to see if I can see, for example, if there's loads of capacitors that are shorting out. Okay, so I don't want to get my hopes up, but things are not shorting out where I thought they might be. So just going by purely the Nintendo switches that I've done before, when I put this on continuity, if there was a problem with this chip here, then normally the capacitors around it have shorted, but have a listen. So that's just on one side. That's just on one side. So that, to me, looks normal. I'm not saying it's going to work, but that one there does look normal. Let's try this one down here. Again, they're only doing it on one side. I mean, some of them are so corroded that they're just like blobs on the board. But you know, I can clean again more. And then on this side here, we've got a little video chip. And when I go to the capacitor above that, again, it's only shorting on one side. And before, I've had these ones short up here when the video chip was faulty. But again, they look okay. And down here, this row here, again, all on one side. So, I mean, I know everything looks filthy, but as far as the capacitors are concerned, they kind of look okay. So even if I can't get it working, maybe there's a chance that I might be able to get some of the chips and use it on another board. My only worry is that underneath each of the chips, I'm sure there is going to be corrosion. But we'll see. So I think what I'll do is, let's pop it on a good battery. So this is one from a different Nintendo Switch.
Quel vermiglio d'onesco color
going to put a lump of thermal paste on here just to fill this one up. I don't know how quick they overheat, but I might as well put some on. Plug our little charger in and see if it reads anything different than it did before. Yes, it does. 0.39. Yes, okay, well let's turn it on now. That's good. Wasn't doing that before. 0.39. Remember, this is the original board, it's just a different case here. Right, let's turn it on again. Right, okay. So it does look like it's charging, but it's not turning on. But that's definitely good. But it's not turning on. Let's hold down the power button now. Well, we've made a little bit of progress, haven't we? I wonder, would it display on the TV? I'm going to play around with it for a while. I think I'm going to plug it into the TV, into the dock, just to see if anything gets displayed on the TV. Obviously, if it does, I'll let you guys know. But I mean, I'm pleased with that, because now it's saying to me that it is taking a charge. It's just it's not doing anything else. It's not turning on. The thing is, I've never come across these faults before, you see, so I don't really know where to go. I don't know what would be causing that. Can't feel anything getting really hot. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this video when I know a bit more. Okay, so I tried it in the dock and nothing happened, which isn't surprising because to be in a dock, surely it has to jump up to the 1.4, 1.5 amps on here because it needs the extra power. Now, interestingly, I plugged it into my PC and it did absolutely nothing. When I plug a working switch into the PC, it makes like a bing noise, you know, like when you connect a USB to it, and then it does recognise it in the settings under the devices. It comes up with Nintendo Switch. Also, when I turn my working switch completely off, like power it down completely and plug it into the PC, what happens is then it takes a few seconds, but then it turns the switch on and then the PC recognises it. While with this one here, it's not doing anything. When I plug this into the PC, it's not recognising it as a USB device at all. So I think, really, I don't really know what to do with it, but because it is now charging, that to me is one little step forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this board out again and I'm going to clean it all over again everywhere, but this time I'm going to concentrate on the inside of the actual connectors. So you know each of these ribbon cables, because if they're rusty on the inside, maybe it's the fact that this can't power on. Well, saying that, I'm doing it via the USB port and it's still not powering on, so I don't think it's a powering on issue. If it was just a switch up here, then it would still, when I plug it into the PC or the dock, it would turn on via here. So I'm going to clean it all again just to see if that makes any difference. So exactly the same as I did before, just give it an IPA bath, scrape it everywhere and go inside all the ribbon cables with the bristles if I can. So I'll get back to this when I've done that. So I cleaned everything with IPA and it's still doing exactly the same as before. It's not turning on, and yet when I plug in this here, it's still just reading the same amount. So if you have a look, there you go. But it doesn't jump up when I turn it on. So what I think I'm going to do is I can see a lot of corrosion around some of the chips. Now, I think I'm probably going to stay away from this one for the time being, just because it's so near to, for example, the plastic from the Joy-Con and everything else is so easy to melt. But with this one here, I should be able to take that off. And I know on the last switch that I did, there was corrosion under that, and that was stopping it from turning on. So I'm going to try that this time. I don't think there's anything wrong with it because it's not shorting anywhere, and it is reading a charging amount here. But really, what else can I do? I don't really know what else to do. The thing is, every single component on here is corroded. I can't take off every single one, and for example some of these chips are going to be the BGA chips where they have loads of balls underneath, and I'm not going to be able to remove them, but I know I can remove that chip. I know I can remove the video chip. There is I think a Realtek chip above that. I'm not sure if it's Realtek, I can't remember, hold on. Not sure. This one here. Now this one on my particular one looks very, very corroded. So again, I might try to remove that. I'll just fast forward through the whole process. I might muck it up, but the thing is, really this switch is kind of junk now anyway. I don't think it's ever going to come back to life with the amount of corrosion. What I would like to know is, how long would it have to have been under the water to get corroded like that? Because I've seen a phone that was dropped in water before, and it didn't look anything like that. It just had corrosion on a few of the components. This had corrosion absolutely everywhere, as if it was living under the water for like a few days or a week or something. So would it just happen if you dropped it in the bath quickly and then took it out? Would it end up looking as bad as that? See, I thought the whole thing would drain away and then you would just have some residue left on certain parts. But this looked like it had been under the sea. It was really, really, really bad. Right, okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Right, okay, so I've changed loads. Now I've been testing as I go along and it's made no difference so far. The last thing I've just done now is change over the USB-C port. But again, there didn't look to be anything wrong with the other one, but I don't really know that until it comes off in case the inner pins were completely corroded. So basically I've changed this little charge chip down here, I've changed this chip here, around the back. I've done quite a bit. I've changed out this chip here, and I've changed out a load of components here, and also a couple down here as well. These were all rusty here, so I've changed every one of those over from this board here. You can see they're all missing from here. So I've done a lot, but last time it didn't make any difference at all. Let's put it back together now and see if it makes any difference now. Okay, and of course nothing's happening at all. And when I plug this in, it's not going to 0.4 amps anymore. So it's really strange. I've put this chip on and to me it looks perfect, but yet, ever since I took that one off the very first time, I've lost the 0.4 amps. I put the same one back on, I put a different one on, and then I put another one on as well. So I don't know, by heating this up, have I kind of heated up something else and broke it? I don't know, but I've done loads and nothing's happening here. Maybe even somebody who fixes these all day, every day, maybe they couldn't do a water damage one. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe there's just too much corrosion on every single tiny capacitor and resistor. Maybe it was never ever going to work. I don't know. So there's nothing really more I can do with this. Do I regret it? Not really. I had a little bit of experience changing over the USB-C port, changing over the chips. I mean, I don't know whether what I've done has worked or not, because from as soon as I removed that, it stopped doing the 0.4. But whatever I've done hasn't made it better, that's for sure. But I do find it a shame that it wasn't perhaps listed as a water damaged Nintendo Switch. To say it just stopped working is a little bit incorrect, isn't it? Because they must have known that they dropped it in the bath or took it for a swim or whatever they did with it. So not, yeah, it's not great. It doesn't really bother me so much because I still get a video out of it, and I've got quite a lot of experience changing out the different chips. And the good thing is, by changing this one out now, I didn't damage this, so I'd definitely be more confident changing one of these out again, because although it looks like it's heated up a little bit, it's still actually okay. It looks like it still functions. But if somebody else bought this, I think they would have been disappointed, because there's some serious amount of corrosion in that. Now, if you know how long it takes to get corroded like that, then let me know down in the comments. Maybe you only have to drop it in, for example, a sink of water for a couple of seconds for that much to happen. It just seems to be really, really corroded for just something that dropped in water. I thought if it dropped in and it was taken out, that most of it would have drained away, but this looks like it's kind of been sat in water for a long time. But perhaps not. Maybe it was just in there for a second or two. But listen, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Hopefully I will still be able to maybe use a few of the chips or maybe the case or something for another Nintendo Switch. And I do have another 2 to try and fix, so I try to do those now in the next couple of weeks. So if you like this, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Take care. Bye now.